Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and I've been messing around with a brand new Essence catch-up that was added this Tuesday for patch 8.3. By the time this video goes up, the European server should also have access to it, and hopefully it'll be mostly bug-free. We've been having some bugs here and there, but nothing destabilizing. I've been trying to figure out the system, how it works, the nooks and crannies, and I wanted to put this video together. If you are someone who doesn't want to do the grind for the essences, but wants to get the most out of the buck for each essence and how to unlock them for your alts, this is going to be the lazy man's essence grinding for your alts in patch 8.3. Before you really begin grinding essences on your alts, make sure to log in on your main, or every character that you have available that has any essence at rank 3, in case you have half your essences on one character and half your essences on another. If you start doing daily activities on your alts before that, you won't get the credit towards this brand new currency, so be sure to at least hop on your main for a minute. I started my journey off on my Feral Druid, trying to see what are some of the dailies that most of you guys will probably end up doing at one point or another on a bunch of your alts. Nothing where you have to feel like you need to grind, but rather certain things that can be done painlessly, efficiently, especially if it's time efficient. Anything that doesn't really take a lot of effort, skill, or a lot of time commitment. Maybe you're someone like me who has a billion of alts and you want to get some decent essences for them, but you don't want to commit too much time on a singular character. You kind of want to have steady progress on a bunch of them. So which activities give you the most bang for your buck? Well, the first thing is going to be the Black Emperor Assault. This will be the zones of either Oldham or Vale that are covered in darkness and there's void enemies everywhere. Whichever zone has the raid entrance is the one that has the Black Emperor Assault happening in the area. There's a good chance you guys are going to do these anyway, since if we want to get our alts up to speed, we'll want to work on our cloak, and assaults, at least weekly, give us gear. Also, they give us vessel currency in order for us to make these vessels to go into horrific visions. And on top of it, these will also give you a good chunk of these Echoes of Neolotha. The activities here are not that difficult. You don't have to do them all in a single sitting, as long as you finish them at some point in the week. This is something you can do while you have other things happening, like I'll probably be doing this on my alts whenever I'm waiting for a video to render to upload it in the morning. Like this one, for example. I'll be hopping on my alts, and while something is happening in the background, I'll be doing this on the side. Very easy to do, it doesn't take a lot of time. If you want to take it a step further, you can also do the mini assaults. So there's always some sort of activities happening either in Oldham or the Vale. For this week, Oldham is going to have the Black Emperor Assault weekly. However, the Vale is going to have two different activities throughout the week. For the first half, it's going to be the Mogu Invasion or Mogu Assault, and you'll be fighting off Mogu and getting the rewards from that. Later, it'll be Manted, and then next week, both zones flip, where the Black Empire and mini assaults are going to happen. As of recording this video though, the mini assaults didn't give me extra currency, however they are supposed to. They're supposed to give us 75. So essentially if you do those on characters that you're really trying to get geared up and really going ASAP, you'll want to get those mini assaults done if you have free time, as both of those will give you enough currency equivalent to the main assault. After doing both of those activities, I still had plenty of free time available for me this morning, so I decided to also test out emissaries. Emissaries are easy to do, and I had 3 of them saved up on my character. Not because I planned or anything, but because I'm kind of lazy to get all the world quests done on every single character. But it worked out for me because emissaries are not difficult. World quests don't really pose that much of a challenge, especially at higher end gear, and even if you have some decent catch-up gear from this brand new patch. So that's one easy way for you to either focus on a single character, on a bunch of characters if you have a lot of free time. However, as of recording this video, Blizzard might or might have disabled the Echoes of Neolotha from certain emissaries. They were trying to figure out if there was a bug or not, and it seems certain emissaries like the Najatar one was supposed to give you pearls and echoes. Some players got pearls, some players got echoes, some players got neither of those. So certain of them might be disabled depending if there's still a bug in the game or not. However, all emissaries are supposed to give you a little bit of echoes as well. If they aren't, just wait until Blizzard eventually fixes it. They are meant to, so just be on the lookout next time you get your emissaries turned in if you are actually getting echoes or not. But this doesn't take a long time at all. This combined together with assaults all in a single day netted me quite a bit of echoes, but not enough to buy an essence, so I had to improvise and add a few more activities to the daily list. Next, I decided to jump into Horrific Visions. Since I'm gonna have to be doing these on alts either way to get my cloak caught up, I would at least want to do this maybe once a week if you're trying to get your characters. Again, we're trying to do the easiest parts of the content, and maybe you're trying to get a rank up of cloak once a day. You can grind it out if you want to, but I decided to do like the bare minimum. It was kind of fun because as a feral, I feel like there's a whole different experience than that of a rogue. I actually ran 3 runs. I died in one of them, but I wanted to push myself because I had fun. But I would say I spent the least amount of time in these visions compared to my rogue, where I would go exploring and getting mementos. My feral, I kind of just tackled 2-3 different zones. So with Horrific Visions, the more zones, the more activities you do, the more Echoes of Neolotha you can get. You get a pretty big bulk just for doing the main boss, but for every extra objective you do, you get a little bit extra. So for a full run, you get about 150. So I didn't get 150, but they are spammable. So if you wanted to put this as a daily grind, you could. Something you can do solo, don't even need people for a dungeon or a raid or PvP if you have trouble finding pugs to do things with. So this is something grindable, but I still wanted to treat it in the laziest, most relaxed way possible, just for someone who doesn't want to invest too much time. So 1 or 2 runs in Horrific Visions is something I think a lot of people will be able to do, maybe like once a week. And after all these activities, I had enough of these echoes in order to buy an essence. Blizzard mentioned before in a blue post that wanted for people to be able to earn 500 essence at least by the end of the week, and I was able to get all that in a single day. And this was even without me opening my Mythic Plus chest. I wanted to save the Mythic Plus chest opening for the live stream, so I tried to see just how many of these echoes I can get without having to open the M Plus chest. From there, just go to Mother and talk to her and buy the essence you need. Now, these essences are a little weird to look at because we normally never look at them in this way, you know, the icons and the abilities. So I really had to make sure I'm buying the right one. And I would say this was so much better to do. This small, I guess, I wouldn't even call it a grind, for Blood of the Enemy rank 3 compared to the 35,000 honor that you have to do and the hours you have to spend in Battlegrounds. Don't get me wrong, it was cool the first time I did it on my rogue, but to do something simple on my feral and to be able to get one of the better essences for a single target as well as AoE as a feral to make it a viable and a really good spec to play with, that felt great. And this opens up a lot more possibilities in case you are having fun playing that alt. Let's say you're someone who decided, I want to get a couple characters up and running. You had a couple alts, you didn't want to farm essences. But now that you got yourself some decent essences, maybe like a week or 2 goes by, and then you go and you can add more things to this list. I haven't even done, let's say, a full run of Neolotha normal. I mean, I don't need the gear from Neolotha normal, but I could do it in order to get those echoes per boss, as well as AP if you're grinding a neck as well. Or do it heroic. I have a guild, so I can bring an alt to a heroic run and get some pieces of gear while grinding those echoes per boss. So I'm collecting gear and working towards my essences. Then of course there's on top of it the Mythic Plus chest, the PvP chest, just doing arenas, doing battlegrounds and winning those, doing Mythic Plus dungeons and timing them. There's so many different activities for us to do that are farmable. So this is something you can do when you have other people to play with for keys or PvP. And even if you don't like that pug life, you don't want to play with random people, you can of course just go and grind Horrific Visions too. A solo activity where you can go and earn some gear, which is now 100% corruptible by the way, so it's great. Another way of catching up for your alts. And you also are gaining these echoes as well. And I haven't even begun to scratch the possible potential of just how many echoes you can farm. How fast can you get a character up to speed? Maybe like do a speed run of, okay, I started with a fresh, brand new character, no good essences, and just how fast can you get yourselves for best in slot, let's say just single target raid boss essences. Your main active, your major, as well as your best passives. Like how fast can you get this up and running? And I would think with this new system, fairly quick. Majority of the content you can do to gain these echoes isn't all super challenging. You can do that on almost a fresh alt with barely any gear, and you should be able to do majority of these pieces of content. Anyway, this has been your easy method of not really grinding, but still gaining quite a bit of these echoes. What are some of the best activities? And this might be able to net you at least 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3 essences within 1 week with very little challenge to the content that is presented to you. Do what you like, do the pieces of content you want to improve upon, and you'll be able to get quite a bit of essences without trying. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about this essence system, and I'll see all you guys in another video.